If you complete all 4 of the landing platform challenges in the exploration tab of your field guide, you get this pretty cool Quidditch captain set. Now this set does only contain 4 pieces, but it requires you to find all 20 landing platforms throughout the entire world. Now if you've not seen a landing platform yet, this is what one looks like, and all it requires you to do is just to fly over it and land on top of it. So I'm going to show you all 20 exact locations of these landing platforms. A couple things to note before we get started. If you zoom out of your entire world map, you can see to the right side how many landing platforms are in each of these sections. Also, another thing to note when we're going through this, please pay attention to the arrow, the direction in which I'm facing when I'm going through these maps. Also, if you need to pause it and get a closer zoomed up, look at the bottom left, the little mini map, and take a note of like landmarks, rivers, and all that stuff along with the direction I'm facing. So let's start this off with North Ford Bog, all the way at the very top of the map. There's only one in this section. It's by Pit upon Ford, the little Floo Flame, along with I guess the little town or whatever that's kind of by that castle. And looking at the area around us, we see it's sitting on top of like a wooden platform kind of on the side of the mountains. Now we're going to go to Hogsmeade Valley. There are 2 in this location. The first one all the way at the very top, the very north part of Hogsmeade Valley. And there's a Floo Flame, East North Ford Bog Floo Flame, along with a small bandit camp right next to the place that we're going to be located at. And this one again is sitting on top of a kind of a wooden structure or a wooden platform all around the side, and it's kind of in a valley. Now the second one in Hogsmeade Valley is all the way at the very bottom of this particular section. Again, it's kind of on the side, really close to Hogsmeade, east of Hogsmeade, and there is a Floo Flame East Hogsmeade Valley as well. And as far as the location, it's a little bit tough to spot if you're not coming from the Floo Flame, because you can't see it too high or too low because it's kind of like one level down from the top of the mountain. Now over to North Hogwarts region, which there are 2 in this location as well. And this one sits really close to a river, East North Hogwarts Floo Flame, and then Jackdaw's Tomb Floo Flame as well. Small bandit camp, pretty close to that, but again, it's really close to where there's a little river, but it's on the very top of like a really high cliff or whatever. So you can kind of see that next to a little abandoned house. Okay, the second one in North Hogwarts region is a little bit further west, but against the mountain, pretty close to the river. There are a couple Floo Flames, Caro's Ruins, which neither one of these is really all that close to this location. Jackdaw's Tomb is also somewhat in this location's in the middle of those 2. But this is, again, pressed all the way up against the mountains, just on this little platform or a little side of the mountain. Kind of tough to see if you're not flying by it. Now we got the South Hogwarts region, a pretty big region, but only one single location. It's on the very east part of it, really close to Arranshire. Closest Floo Flame anyway to that, there is a treasure vault kind of by it. This is, again, pushed up against the mountain. So unless you're coming from the direction of the Floo Flame, it is a little bit tough to see. You can see a long bridge right there, kind of close to the water as well. Now we got Hogwarts Valley. There are 3 landing platforms in this location. First one on the very northwest section, West Hogwarts Valley Floo Flame. We got a treasure vault. We got Dugbog's Lair as well. A lot of these are kind of pressed up against the mountains, so they're a little bit tough to see sometimes. But yeah, this is just right alongside of the mountain. You can see the castle in the background. Second one in Hogwarts Valley is almost dead in the center of it, but on the west part of it next to Keen Bridge is pretty much one of the closest. And then West Hogwarts Valley is another pretty close Floo Flame. It's kind of set in between those two flue flames, so either one that you want to use is fine. But this one's really easy to spot out because there's a lot of, destruction, a lot of ruins around there, and it's sitting on top in the middle of one of these buildings. And then the third one in Hogwarts Valley, really close to South Sea Bog, at the very south of Hogwarts Valley, we got the Mind's Eye Flue Flame, Northern Sea Bog Flue Flame. So either one of those is fine to spawn into to get to this particular location. And again, this one is really close to a mine. You got train tracks right there as well on the bottom. So now we're going to go over to Feldcroft region, and the first one's very at the northeastern part of it. We have one flue flame that's kind of close, North Feldcroft Flue Flame, and then there's a treasure vault, small bandit camp as well. And this is, again, like most of the others, pressed up against the mountains. So you kind of just have to fly around on the side to be able to spot it. And then the second one for Feldcroft is kind of in the center, but on the eastern side of the center of the actual section. We got Feldcroft right there for the flue flame. That's pretty close. We have a troll lair. We have a treasure vault. All of those are fairly close to it. But this one's really easy to spot because it's in a building as well. So you're going to see a lot of, broken buildings, a lot of ruins or whatever. And then this is like kind of in the center on the top. The third platform in Feldcroft is in the center as well, but on the western part of Feldcroft, this is really close to the South Feldcroft Flue Flame. So as long as you have that one unlocked, or just put that as on your map to fly to, it's really close to it, right next to it. Once you step out, you see the water, the little building that you come out of the flue flame, and then just fly up and you'll see the landing platform there. And then the final landing platform in this particular location on the southern side or southeastern side, this one is by Irondale and a little Irondale camp as well. We got Moonstone Garden right next to it. This is like a little mountain or a little hill that's in between two rivers. So you'll see the two rivers that are flowing right next to it, and it's at the very top of this little mountain that's in between these two rivers, next to some buildings as well. Pretty easy to spot. Now the next one is going to be in Potiseer Coast at the very, very bottom. There is only one landing platform in this one, South Potiseer Coast, next to Marrowwomb Ruins and small bandit camp right next to that. But this is on a really long, small, tiny island at the very, very south end of it. You're going to see water obviously everywhere, and it's just going to be sitting on some rocks at the very top. Now we got Marunweem Lake, not sure how to pronounce that, but we have two landing platforms in this particular location. This one's really close to a flue flame by the bridge and by the lake, kind of right in the center by the bridge. This one is really easy to spot, and it's sitting like right on the bridge, right on top of this little castle part or the little end of the bridge. And then the second landing platform for this particular region is going to be all the way on the very eastern side of it. And we have a couple flue flames. We can use the Coastal Mine, or we can use the Tower Tunnel. Now, I believe, if I remember, the Coastal Mine is the one that you use to kind of unlock this region to begin with. But it's on the very eastern side of this section, again, up against the mountains. It's kind of not at the very top of the mountains, but kind of in the middle. You'll see the big lake, the tracks all around it. Next region we got is the Manor Cape. This one has two landing platforms. First one's going to be on the northwestern side of it, West Manor Cape Flue Flame. We have a treasure vault all the way on the back side by where the water is. So if you don't fly all the way behind it to where the water is, you're gonna miss it because it's not at the top of the land or top of the mountain. It's kind of just nestled at the side, kind of close to the water. And then the second one in Manor Cape, kind of in the center, again on the western coast, really close to the West Manor Cape Flue Flame. We have a Hippogriff Den as well, but just go on the western side of the cape where the water and all of the rocks in the land is. And you'll again see it on the side of the mountain. So don't fly over the top, but just on the side by the water. Next, we got the Cragcroft Shire region. This is at the very southeastern tip of it. And so if you have the Cragcroft Flue Flame, you're going to need to use that one and go to the south. Hedge Maze is right by it. We have a treasure vault as well that's kind of by it. And this one sits on top of a bunch of rocks in the middle of the water. So you're really close to the coast on the coastal side of it, but you'll see a bunch of rocks, and stacked on the very top is the platform. And then finally, we got the Clagmere Coast. This is very southeastern side of Clagmere Coast. You're going to need the Clagmere Castle Flue Flame if you want at least the closest Flue Flame to it. There's a treasure vault kind of by it, and another den. But this one's on the very southeastern corner of it, kind of by the mountains again, by the water, sort of on the side of the cliff or whatever. So you're going to have to fly around by the water side of it in order to spot this one. So those are all 20 platforms, and this is what the complete set looks like when it's all put together. No face wear and no neck wear, but it does have the 4 pieces, and this set looks absolutely amazing. I love it. But if you enjoyed the video and you found the video helpful, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you feel like it. Otherwise, I will see y'all next time. Y'all take it easy. We're out. Peace.